Hi everyone, it's Rose and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about the 14 books I read in June. And let me tell you, June was a banger of a reading month. We've got multiple 5 stars, back-to-back amazing reads, and I have found my love for the horror genre. I read 4,064 pages, and I only read 5 out of the 10 books on my TBR, but half is not bad for a mood reader like me. Well, let's talk about the actual reads, shall we? Started off with a pretty unique book that has very low ratings on Goodreads. This is The Dinner Party by Freida McFadden, which I rated 3 stars. This is a choose your own ending type book. It's a pick your own adventure type book, and it has, I think, 22 different endings. Now, I read every single ending. Anytime I picked a choice that meant the book would end, I'd just go back and pick a different choice so I could make my way through the whole book and experience all the different endings. It was fun. It was something good to read on a one-off during a night shift at work, but it's definitely not the best. There are some absolutely stupid endings. I don't know what was going on with mating with a Yeti, like, what, or a werewolf, like, all sorts. It's not a book to be taken seriously. It's a fun time, it's not a literary masterpiece. I say that a lot with Freida McFadden, but this one you really have to suspend belief for. The next book, we already have a 5-star read, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Caretaker by Marcus Klewer. This is one of the best horror books I have read. Marcus Klewer is the author of We Used to Live Here, which was one of my favourite horror books, still is, but I think this one might even top that. He has secured his place as an author by author for me, and the writing, the atmosphere he can create, the sense of terror chills down my spine and looking over my shoulder 40 pages in broad daylight is like no one else. This woman takes a job at what she thinks is going to be looking after an old man for 3 days while his wife is away. However, he died 3 months ago, and what she's actually there for is to follow the rites that he used to do to look after the house. Because if she doesn't, the world will end, humanity will perish, and I don't want to tell you anymore. I just want to say that this is scary and so good. Then I had a DNF. This was a NetGalley arc. I always try to give arcs that I receive the benefit of the doubt and push through where I might have DNF'd earlier, but unfortunately this one just could not keep my attention. This is House of Margins by Lotto Samasi, and I'm actually going to pull my review up so that I can see what I said. So I DNF'd this one at 40% after trying to listen to it for days, and I kept zoning out. It couldn't keep my attention. I feel like maybe this shouldn't have been marketed as horror because the horror aspect is so small in comparison to the other important conversations going on, and whilst I liked those important conversations, then the actual plot line was really not keeping my attention. There is mixed media in this. There is a podcast throughout it and some sort of haunted phone, which I really liked, but again, I didn't like the execution of that. I loved the premise. I didn't like how it was written. A lot of important conversations about race, religion, and sexuality, and there is so much diverse representation within those communities. Is all sorts of different experiences from all sorts of different women, which is why I really tried to push through with this one, because I knew what they were trying to say in that, but the actual plot, I just kept zoning out, and then I'd zone back in and be confused, and I'd have to rewind it like 20 times. I just know when that happens, it's not for me, so I DNF'd. Again, we are back with another 5-star read. I read The Divorce by Freida McFadden, and I rated this 5 stars. As usual, if you're not new here, you will know I buddy read this with Ellen. I buddy read all of Freida's books with her because it is so fun trying to work out theories of this insane woman's mind. Like, what the hell? This was so good. It's about a woman whose husband serves her with divorce papers out of seemingly nowhere. There is another woman that he's moved on with, and she's determined to do anything to keep her family together. But it's so much more than that. It was so good. It was so crazy. I think the experience of buddy reading it with someone is what really makes these books for me. Ellen is so fun, and we just had the best time doing that. So 5 stars for all-around book vibe experience. We have a polarizing one, and I think I fell on the unpopular side. Let's talk about it. I read Yesteryear by Caro Claire Burke, and I rated this 2 stars. Litfic is not my usual genre. If you like litfic, I think you'll like this book, but I don't. And I just kept reading because I was like, okay, everyone says there's a crazy plot twist. This is going to pull everything together. It's going to redeem the book for me. And then we got to the plot twist, and the twist was the only logical answer. Like, anything but that answer would have been a twist. That was the only one that made sense. I think it's a big plot twist for people who don't read thrillers, maybe. If, again, I would recommend this to the Litfic girls. I think you'll have the best time with it, but no. I was very, very bored. I think I read this in a reading vlog, and I was pushing through it to get to the reveal, and the reveal, no, it was so disappointing, unfortunately. Then we have The Trees Grew Because I Bled There by Eric LaRocca, which I rated 4 stars. This is a collection of short horror stories, and I'm a big fan of this author's work. I'm gonna pull up the individual ratings for each short story. Okay, so first we have You Follow Wherever They Go, which I rated 3 stars. That was a very, very short story. I can't even really tell you the premise because it was literally like 10 pages. Then we have Bodies Are for Burning, which I rated 3 stars, and this is about, I think it was a woman who is plagued by thoughts of burning things, burning people. Yeah. Then we have The Strange Thing We Become, which is someone posting on some sort of anonymous forum about their partner acting strange. Then we have The Trees Grew Because I Bled There, which I rated 5 stars. That one is gory. I can't even tell you the premise because I can't say those words on YouTube, but trust me when I say it's not for the faint of heart. We also have You're Not Supposed to Be Here, which I rated 5 stars. Again, I can't tell you the premise of that one, but it is dark and disturbing and I loved it. That says more about me than about the book, but hey. Where Flames Burn Emerald as Grass. This is about a man who gets approached by someone who claims to be able to predict the future, able to mind read, and boy does it get weird. Then we have I'll Be Gone By Then, which I rated 4 stars. This is about a woman whose estranged elderly mother is coming to stay with her, and she don't want her mum there. Really the most disturbing one of them all. Please Leave or I'm Going to Hurt You, which I rated 4 stars. This is about a man who's in love with his father. Okay, I'm just putting it out there. Ugh. Makes me nauseous. Makes me nauseous. This was written so well though. I have another 5-star, you guys. I'm sure if you're not new here, you've seen this book all over my page. This is Latvana by Atessa Moshfegh. My god, this takes the cake for the most unique book I've ever read. It has every single trigger warning you can think of. It's kind of fantastical in a sense. It is so brutal, it is so blunt, it is so gory, and I can't even tell you what it's about because I don't know. I didn't know what we were doing from one page to the next. I didn't know whether it was going to take a funny turn or a depressing turn or a violent turn. All I know is there were turns, and this made my stomach clench at times. It was just such a unique experience, which made it so fun. But it feels weird to say this book is fun because it is anything but at the same time. Don't ask me how it does both. The duality of this book is crazy. Then we have my second DNF, again a NetGalley arc. I really do try to push through. This is Both Can Be True by Jessica Guerrieri. I made it 35% of the way into this one, I do believe. It was just so bleak and depressing. I kept again zoning out, but this was because I just didn't want to read about something so hopeless in a way. I also didn't like one of the main, so it's following like 2 sisters, and then one of them has a friend who's also their AA like mentor. I can't remember what it's called, and then she's also mentoring someone else, and then there's another woman, but one of them has a child who's autistic, and I just didn't like a lot of the language you used around that as an autistic adult. I just didn't love that. But everything was just so bleak and depressing that I didn't want to be put in that headspace, so I DNF'd it. Sue me. We're back to horror again though, with Night of the Mannequins by Stephen Graham Jones, which I rated 3.5 stars. This is a short story about a mannequin that comes to life and is supposedly killing people. It is 110 pages. For 100 pages, it was okay. It was a little bit boring. I wasn't loving it. And then boom, shock, horror. That is how you end a horror book. I originally was going to rate it higher because I was like on the high of the ending, but 3.5 stars because the first 90% wasn't amazing, but the end, I could have cried. It was so good. Then I read The Vegetarian by Han Kang, and I rated this one 3 stars. I didn't know going into this the story is in 3 parts, the first being The Vegetarian. That was the only part I liked. I hated every single character, particularly the men, but every single character other than the vegetarian, and she was just in it less and less throughout the book. Felt like we had a really good plot going on, a really good set of like whose POV we were in, the events that were happening. Then we got to the end of the vegetarian, and the next bit's about a completely different subplot. We're not in the same character's headspace. The third book was again, the third part was again in a different set of characters' headspaces, and I thought we just felt further and further away from the point of the first part. And then the end ended in what felt like the middle of the story. I turned the page and I was at the acknowledgements. This had such a strong start, but it ended up going very downhill. Then we have The Long Haul by Hannah Doyle, which I rated 2 stars. This took me a while to get through. I listened to it in audio. I really wanted to give this a chance because I was so kindly sent this, and it was less than 300 pages, but the constant TikTok language and slang, someone said Riz in the book, it dates it to the current time right now. In 2 years this book will be so dated. No one's gonna know what any of the slang means. She's stuck in a time loop between her co-worker and the one that got away. It's very obvious who she should and will pick from the beginning, and I just cringed the entire time. I can't say I'd recommend. We're back with a banger though. I didn't have any like multiple books I didn't like. This was a very good month of like anytime I had a bad book, the next one redeemed it. This is My Sister the Serial Killer by Ayinka Braithwaite. I am definitely butchering that name. This was so good. I know I keep saying that, but I really mean it, you guys. This is about a woman whose sister calls her and claims to have killed her boyfriend in self-defense because he came at her. And she goes to try and help her cover up this, because even though it was self-defense, we are in, I believe, we're in Nigeria where the system is very corrupt and she's not going to get a fair chance. However, this is the 3rd time her sister has done that, officially making her a serial killer. Is she really killing all these men in self-defense, or is something else going on? Then she starts dating the man that our main woman is in love with. And she's like, I can't let her kill another guy because this is a man I care about, so what am I gonna do? It just unravels from there. It is so, so good. I just love this so much. I need to read more from this author. Another banger, we have The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. I rate this 4 stars. I read this in one sitting. I stayed up till 4 AM to finish the audiobook. This is a series of letters, but like some of them are very long to the point where it's kind of like you're just being told the story. Where she's writing to a lawyer to help take on her case because she's currently in prison for the murder of a child, and she says she doesn't do it. About a woman who goes to be like a live-in nanny for these children in a smart house, and things start happening that makes her think the house is haunted. A child ends up dead, but what the hell happened in between that? Is she guilty? Did she do it? I loved the ending of this book. I just couldn't put it down. Again, stayed up till 4 AM. I had to know where we were going with this. You guys, then I ended with another 5-star. I cannot remember the last time I had 4 5-star reads in 1 month. I would just like to show you, if the camera would let me, how pretty this book is with all of its annotations. I was writing all over this book. I was underlining left, right and centre. I was having the absolute experience that is this book. His and Hers by Alice Feeney, you guys. This is the only book by Alice Feeney I was yet to read, and it might be my favourite. I have almost all of her books are 5 stars. This, I had no clue who it was going to be. I guessed every single person multiple times. Then I was going back. Then I was being like, no, it can't be this person. Wait, actually it can. Wait, no, it's this one. Wait, no. Every single person. I thought I had it about 100 times. I swear to God. This, oh my God, it was... I wish I could experience this again for the first time. Also, annotating and tapping it was such a fun experience too. I love doing this with books. I do it very rarely, but when I do it and I get sucked in, it was just an incredible experience. This book was so good. Please read it. And that was it. Those are the 14 books I read this month. A banger of a month, like I said. How many books did you read this month? What was your favourite read this month? And also, if you've read anything I did this month, what did you think? If you'd like to see more from me, please be sure to like and subscribe as I post new videos every single week. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you in another video. Bye!